Welcome, dear students. Today, we embark on a fascinating journey across the Earth's biodiversity hotspots, places bursting with life, color, and creatures found nowhere else on the planet. From the snowy peaks of the Himalayas to the deep forests of the Amazon, from Madagascar's curious lemurs to India's rare frogs and flowers, we'll explore how nature creates unique wonders in every corner of the world. These endemic species are not just special, they are living treasures, shaped by time, geography, and climate. So, get ready to witness the magic of Earth's biodiversity like never before. Let's discover, learn, and understand why protecting these ecosystems is our shared responsibility. Let's begin. 1. National Forest. Definition: a large area reserved and managed by the government for the preservation of forest ecosystems, biodiversity, and wildlife. Key points: owned and managed by the government. May allow some human activity like timber harvesting or tribal access under strict regulation. Aim: conservation plus sustainable use. Examples in India: Jim Corbett National Park, Uttarakhand; Sundarbans National Park, West Bengal. 2. Wildlife Sanctuary, not sanctuary. Definition: a protected area where animals and birds are protected in their natural habitat. Limited human activity is allowed. Key points: focus on protecting a specific species or habitat. Activities like grazing or tourism may be allowed. Less strict compared to national parks. Examples in India: Bharatpur Bird Sanctuary, Rajasthan; Periyar Wildlife Sanctuary, Kerala. 3. Biodiversity Hotspot. Definition: a region rich in biodiversity that is under threat due to human activities. Key points: must have at least 1,500 species of endemic plants. Must have lost at least 70% of its original natural vegetation. Conservation priority areas. Hotspots in India: Himalayas, Indo-Burma region, Western Ghats and Sri Lanka, Sundaland, Nicobar Islands. Quick memory tip: term focus human activity. Example: National Park Protection plus no human use restricted Jim Corbett, Kaziranga. Sanctuary Wildlife Protection limited allowed Bharatpur, Periyar. Hotspot rich but threatened biodiversity not a protected area Western Ghats, Himalayas. National parks in India, detailed notes. What is a national park? A national park is a protected area established by the government for the conservation of wildlife, biodiversity, and natural ecosystems. It restricts human activities to prevent damage to flora, fauna, and the landscape. Key features. Feature description: established by state or central government under the Wildlife Protection Act, 1972. Main aim to protect biodiversity and maintain ecological balance. Human activity not allowed, except for tourism and research under strict rules. Boundary clearly demarcated. Ownership government-owned land only. How is it different from a wildlife sanctuary? Aspect: National Park Wildlife Sanctuary. Legal status: more strictly protected, less strict. Human activity not allowed, limited activity may be allowed. Boundaries fixed and clearly marked, not always fixed. Area ownership: only government land can include private land. Statistics: as of 2024. Total national parks in India: 106. Covers 1.35% of India's geographical area. National park statistics: total national parks: 106, covering 44,402.95 square kilometers, 1.35% of India's land area. Famous national parks of India, with key species. National Park State famous for: Jim Corbett NP Uttarakhand, first NP of India, 1936, tigers. Kaziranga NP Assam, one-horned rhinoceros. Sundarbans NP West Bengal, Royal Bengal tigers. Mangroves. Gir NP Gujarat, Asiatic lions. Ranthambore NP Rajasthan tigers. Historic ruins. Bandhavgarh, NP, Madhya Pradesh, high density of tigers. Kanha, NP, Madhya Pradesh, swamp deer. Barsinga. Periyar, NP, Kerala, elephants. Western Ghats, beauty. Valley of Flowers, NP, Uttarakhand, alpine flora. UNESCO World Heritage Site. Hemis, NP, Ladakh, snow leopards. Largest NP in India. Importance of national parks. Conservation of endangered species. Maintaining ecological balance. Promoting ecotourism. Scientific research and education. Climate regulation through forest preservation. Arunachal Pradesh. 2 national parks. Name, year, location, key features, famous wildlife. Namdapha, 1983, Changlang district. Eastern Himalayas. Dense rainforest. River, snow leopard. Red panda. Hornbill. Mauling, 1986, Upper Siang Mauling Range. Siang River Valley staking. Sero. Goral. Orchids. Assam. 5 national parks. Name, year, location, key features, famous wildlife. Kaziranga, 1974, Golaghat. Nagav UNESCO site. Brahmaputra floodplain, one-horned rhinoceros. Wild buffalo. Manas, 1990, Barpeta. Kokrajhar UNESCO site. Project Tiger Reserve, Golden Langur. Tiger. Pygmy hog. Nameri, 1998, Sonitpur near Arunachal border. On Jia Boroli River, tiger. Elephant. Hornbill. Rajiv Gandhi. Orang. 1999, Darrang. Sonitpur riverine habitat. Brahmaputra basin tiger. Rhino. Elephants. Wild pigs. Dibru-Sakhova, 1999, Tinsukia. Dibrugarh grasslands. Wetlands. Semi-evergreen forests, feral horses. River dolphins. Migratory birds. Bihar, 1 national park. Valmiki National Park. Established in 1989. Located in West Champaran. This park lies at the foothills of the Himalayas in the Bhabar region. It is known for its lush forests and is home to majestic wildlife like the tiger, leopard, and sloth bear. A serene landscape. Valmiki is a hidden gem of eastern India. Chhattisgarh, 3 national parks. Guru Ghasidas National Park. Sanjay. Formed in 1981 in the Korea district. This park is part of the larger Sanjay Dubri Tiger Reserve system. It shelters predators like the tiger and leopard, and herbivores such as bison and wild dog. Indravati National Park. Declared in 1982, it lies in Bijapur district and is the only tiger reserve in Chhattisgarh. It hosts iconic species such as the Indian gaur, sloth bear, and of course, the tiger. Kangar Valley National Park. Also established in 1982, located in Bastar, this region is famed for its limestone caves, stunning waterfalls, and rich biodiversity. A key attraction here is the Bastar Hill Mine, along with hornbills and leopards. Goa, 1 national park. Molem National Park. Declared in 1992, located in South Goa, within the lush stretch of the Western Ghats. It boasts waterfalls, dense forests, and wildlife like the leopard, black panther, and king cobra. Perfect for ecotourism and trekking lovers. Gujarat, 4 national parks. Gir Forest National Park. Established in 1975 in Junagadh. It is the only home of the Asiatic lion. Other species include hyenas, jackals, and sambars. A global icon of species conservation. Blackbuck National Park. Velavdar. Founded in 1976 in Bhavnagar, this park consists of vast grasslands and supports unique fauna like the blackbuck antelope, Indian wolf, and fox. Vansada National Park. Established in 1979 in Navsari district, this park preserves the moist deciduous forest ecosystem. It is home to the leopard, python, and giant squirrel. Marine National Park. Gulf of Kutch. Established in 1982 near Jamnagar, this is India's first marine national park. Famous for its coral reefs, sandy beaches, and aquatic life like dugongs, sea turtles, dolphins, and various reef species. Haryana, 2 national parks. Sultanpur National Park. Declared in 1989, located in Gurugram, This park is famous for its wetlands and migratory bird sightings. During winters, one can see flamingos, storks, and countless waders. Kalesar National Park. Formed in 2003 in Yamunanagar, situated at the Shivalik foothills, covered with sal forests. Wildlife includes the leopard, sambar deer, and wild boar. Himachal Pradesh 5 national parks. Great Himalayan National Park. Declared in 1984 in Kullu, this is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. It features alpine meadows, glaciers, and species like the snow leopard, blue sheep, and ibex. Pin Valley National Park. Formed in 1987 in Lahaul and Spiti, it lies in the high-altitude cold desert of Himachal. Rare wildlife includes the snow leopard and Siberian ibex. Indrakilla National Park. Established in 2010 in Kullu, covered with deodar forests and rugged valleys. Home to the Himalayan teher and musk deer. Khir Ganga National Park. Also founded in 2010, famous for its hot springs and trekking routes. Wildlife includes the Himalayan black bear and goral. Simbalbara National Park. Established in 2010 in Sirmar district, near the Haryana border. It features dense forest, with species like barking deer, wild boar, and leopards. Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh, 4 national parks. Let's journey to the northernmost crown of India, the Union Territories of Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh. Dachigam National Park, established in 1981 near Srinagar, lies in the Sarinj Barwan range. Its lush alpine meadows are the last stronghold of the endangered hangul, or Kashmir stag, alongside leopards and Himalayan black bears. Hemis National Park in Ladakh is India's largest national park. Established in 1981, its cold desert terrain shelters the elusive snow leopard, Tibetan wolves, and blue sheep, making it a hotspot for wildlife enthusiasts. Kishtwar National Park, also founded in 1981, sits in the rugged Himalayan terrain of Jammu. This coniferous forest paradise is home to musk deer, brown bears, and leopards. Lastly, City Forest National Park, also known as Salim Ali Park, lies within Srinagar. Established in 1992, it supports urban biodiversity and wetland habitats, attracting migratory birds, herons, and egrets. Jharkhand 1 National Park. In eastern India, Betla National Park, established in 1986 in Latehar, features lush sal and bamboo forests over hilly terrain. It is one of the oldest tiger reserves in the country, home to tigers, elephants, sloth bears, and gars. Karnataka 5 national parks. The state of Karnataka is a treasure trove of biodiversity. Bandipur National Park, founded in 1974, is part of the Nilgiri Biosphere Reserve. This dry deciduous forest supports tigers, elephants, gars, and dholes. Close to Bengaluru is Bannerghatta National Park. Also established in 1974, it features a safari zone and butterfly park, sheltering leopards, elephants, and sloth bears. Anshi National Park, now part of the Kali Tiger Reserve, was founded in 1987. Located in the lush Western Ghats, it harbors black panthers, tigers, and a variety of hornbills. Kudremukh National Park, established the same year, is a unique grassland shola forest ecosystem rich in iron ore. It's known for its endangered lion-tailed macaques and leopards. Nagrahole National Park, established in 1988, lies across the Kabini River and is part of the Nilgiri Biosphere. It shelters a dense population of tigers, elephants, bison, and leopards. Kerala 6 national parks. Kerala, nestled in the Western Ghats, is blessed with rich ecological diversity. Eravikulam National Park, declared in 1978, is home to the majestic Anamudi Peak and is famous for the Nilgiri Teher. Periyar National Park, established in 1982 around the Periyar Lake, offers lush evergreen forests where elephants, tigers, and wild boars roam freely. Silent Valley National Park, created in 1984, is a pristine tropical rainforest and home to rare species like the lion-tailed macaque and Malabar civet. In 2003, 3 more gems were added. Anamudi Shola, known for its Shola forest biodiversity, houses the giant squirrel and the rare Nilgiri marten. Mathiketan Shola, with its rich flora and fauna, provides refuge to leopard cats and elephants. And Pampadum Shola, the smallest national park in Kerala, is dense, green, and peaceful home to ghars, leopards, and elephants. Madhya Pradesh, the tiger state of India, 9 national parks. 1 Kanha National Park, established in 1955 in Mandla and Balaghat districts. Famous for sal and bamboo forests and vast meadows, it's home to the majestic tiger, the rare barsinga, swamp deer, and the leopard. 2 Bandhavgarh National Park, founded in 1968 in Umriya. Known for the ancient Bandhavgarh fort ruins, it holds India's highest tiger density. 3 Painch National Park, established in 1975 across Seoni and Chhindwara. Inspired Kipling's Jungle Book and lies along the Painch River. Home to tigers, wild dogs, and gaur. 4 Panna National Park since 1981. Nestled in Panna and Chhatarpur. Rocky plateaus, Ken River, and teak forests host tigers, vultures, and leopards. 5 Sanjay National Park, also from 1981, in Sindhi. A rich mixed forest ecosystem, part of the Sanjay Dubri Tiger Reserve. 6 Satpura National Park, created in 1981, Hoshangabad. Its sandstone hills, streams, and caves shelter leopards, sloth bears, and Malabar giant squirrels. 7 Van Vihar National Park, urban park in Bhopal since 1979, with lakeside wildlife enclosures. Spot tigers, lions, and deer in safe, semi-wild habitats. 8 Fossil National Park Shivpuri, set up in 1983, preserves prehistoric plant fossils and showcases natural history. 9 Tadoba, often listed with Madhya Pradesh due to history, but it's now in Maharashtra. Known for its dry deciduous forests and thriving tiger population. Maharashtra forests amidst forts. 6 national parks. 1 Chandoli National Park, created in 2004 in Sangli. Located in the Western Ghats, it includes Shiva Sagar backwaters, home to gaur, leopards, and giant squirrels. 2 Gugamal National Park, part of the Melghat Tiger Reserve, established in 1975 in Amravati, houses tigers, wild dogs, and sambar deer. 3 Navegaon National Park, founded in 1975 in Gondia. Its serene Navegaon Lake and forested hills host leopards, bison, and spotted deer. 4 Painch National Park, Jawaharlal Nehru, shared with MP, set up in 1975 in Nagpur. Teak and bamboo forests harbor tigers, wild boar, and nilgai. 5 Sanjay Gandhi National Park, Borivali, Mumbai's urban sanctuary since 1983. Known for leopard sightings and high human-wildlife interaction. Manipur, floating wildlife wonders. Kebul Lamjao National Park, established in 1977 in Bishnupur. The only floating national park in the world, it lies on Loktak Lake, sheltering the rare and elegant Sangi deer, also called dancing deer. Meghalaya, the misty hills of biodiversity. 2 national parks. 1 Balpakram National Park, created in 1985 in South Garo Hills. With its gorges, plateaus, and limestone caves, it shelters red pandas, elephants, and wild buffalo. 2 Nokrek National Park, notified in 1986 in West Garo Hills. A UNESCO Biosphere Reserve and Citrus Gene Reserve, home to the Hulog gibbon, slow lories, and leopards. Mizoram, the Blue Mountain Wilderness. 2 national parks. 1 Merlin National Park, located in Champhai, since 1991. A dense, diverse forest near the border, hosting leopards, serow, and Hulog gibbons. 2 Phongpui, Blue Mountain, National Park, established in 1992. It features Mizoram's highest peak and breathtaking landscapes. Home to the elusive clouded leopard and barking deer. Wildlife sanctuaries in India. Overview. Total. Over 565 wildlife sanctuaries, as of 2023-24, spread across all states and union territories, ranging from small bird sanctuaries to massive tiger or elephant habitats. Difference between National Park and Wildlife Sanctuary. Feature National Park Wildlife Sanctuary. Purpose: conservation of flora, fauna and landscape, primarily for fauna conservation. Human activity strictly prohibited, limited activities allowed, like grazing. Legal status declared under Wildlife Protection Act, 1972 same, but with slightly less restriction. Boundary changes cannot be altered without Parliament approval, can be altered by state authority. Let us now explore some of the most important wildlife sanctuaries across India, each known for its unique biodiversity and natural beauty. Bharatpur Bird Sanctuary, also known as Keoladeo Ghana National Park, is located in Rajasthan. It is a UNESCO World Heritage Site and is globally famous for its migratory birds, including the rare Siberian crane. Moving east to Odisha, we find the Chilika Lake Nalaban Sanctuary. It's part of Asia's largest brackish water lagoon, and is home to the Irrawaddy dolphins and thousands of flamingos that paint the wetlands pink. In Gujarat, the Kutch Desert Wildlife Sanctuary lies in the heart of the Run of Kutch. It is known for the graceful Indian wild as and massive flocks of flamingos that nest in its seasonal wetlands. Bhadra Wildlife Sanctuary in Karnataka is a hidden gem surrounded by lush western Ghats. It hosts tigers, elephants, and beautiful river valleys, making it a popular ecotourism destination. From Kerala, we have the Periyar Wildlife Sanctuary, set around a scenic lake in the Western Ghats. This sanctuary is famous for its elephants and peaceful boat cruises that offer stunning views of wildlife. In the Sundarbans of West Bengal, the Sundarbans Wildlife Sanctuary protects one of the largest mangrove forests in the world. It is the royal home of the elusive Bengal tiger and crocodiles that swim through the mangrove delta. Manas Wildlife Sanctuary in Assam is a UNESCO Biosphere Reserve and World Heritage Site. It shelters unique species like the golden langur, pygmy hog, and endangered Indian elephants. In the north, Pong Dam Sanctuary in Himachal Pradesh offers a picturesque haven for migratory birds and waterfowl along the reservoir formed by the Beas River. Heading south-central, Etur Nagaram Wildlife Sanctuary in Telangana is one of the oldest sanctuaries in the region. It's known for the sloth bear, spotted deer, and its unique location along the Godavari River. And finally, we return to Odisha, where the Nandankanan Wildlife Sanctuary and Zoological Park houses the famous white tiger, and serves as a conservation breeding center. These sanctuaries are not just protected zones, but lifelines for India's rich and diverse ecosystems. They offer a haven for endangered species, inspire scientific research, and invite visitors to reconnect with nature. Wildlife sanctuaries in India. State UT-wise count. State UT know of wildlife sanctuaries. Indian Andaman and Nicobar Islands 96. Andhra Pradesh 13. Arunachal Pradesh 11. Assam 18. Bihar 12. Chandigarh 2. Chhattisgarh 11. Dadra and Nagar Haveli and Daman and Diu 1. Delhi 1. Goa 6. Gujarat 23. Haryana 8. Himachal Pradesh 28. Jammu and Kashmir 14. Jharkhand 11. Karnataka 30. Kerala 18. Ladakh 2. Lakshadweep 1. Madhya Pradesh 25. Maharashtra 49. Manipur 1. Meghalaya 4. Mizoram 8. Nagaland 4. Odisha 19. Puducherry 1. Punjab 13. Rajasthan 25. Sikkim 6. Tamil Nadu 31. Telangana 9. Tripura 4. Uttar Pradesh 25. Uttarakhand 7. West Bengal 15. Andhra Pradesh Wildlife Sanctuaries. Rollapadu Wildlife Sanctuary, Kurnool. Times famous for great Indian bustard and blackbucks. Times dry grassland and scrubland habitat. Times also hosts foxes, wolves, and short-toed eagles. Sri Lankamaleswara Wildlife Sanctuary, Kuduppa Ysr Karpa. Times only known habitat of Jerdon's corsair, critically endangered bird. Times thorny scrub forest and dry deciduous terrain. Times leopards, sloth bears, and peafowl are also found. Koringa Wildlife Sanctuary, East Godavari. Times second largest mangrove forest in India. Times hosts fishing cats, smooth-coated otters, and estuarine crocodiles. Times over 120 species of birds, including herons and kingfishers. Arunachal Pradesh Wildlife Sanctuaries. Dibang Wildlife Sanctuary, Upper Dibang Valley. Times high-altitude forests, home to mishmi taking, snow leopard, and red goral. Times includes alpine meadows, glaciers, and subalpine conifer forests. Eagle Nest Wildlife Sanctuary, West Kameng. Times globally renowned for bird watching. Over 450 species recorded. Times known for Bugun Lyocycla, hornbills, and butterflies. Times dense subtropical forests, also home to red pandas and clouded leopards. Mahao Wildlife Sanctuary, Lower Dibang Valley. Times rich in hoolock gibbon, clouded leopard, elephant, and python. Times evergreen and semi-evergreen forests with lakes and rivers. Times scenic Mahao Lake lies within this sanctuary. Assam Wildlife Sanctuaries. Pobitora Wildlife Sanctuary, Morigao. Times highest density of Indian rhinoceros in the world. Times marshy grassland and floodplain ecosystem. Times migratory birds like pelicans and storks also visit seasonally. Bornadi Wildlife Sanctuary, Darrang. Times on Bhutan border. Unique Himalayan foothill ecosystem. Times conserves pygmy hog, hispid hare, and Bengal florican. Times also supports elephants, deer, and reptiles. Chakrashila Wildlife Sanctuary, Dhubri, Kokrajhar. Times first Indian sanctuary for golden langur. Times comprises forest-covered hillocks and 2 lakes. Times turtles, jackals, and a variety of butterflies thrive here. Bihar Wildlife Sanctuaries. Valmiki Wildlife Sanctuary, West Champaran. Times adjacent to Nepal border. Forms part of Valmiki Tiger Reserve. Times habitat for tiger, leopard, sloth bear, and Indian bison. Times River Gandak flows through the sanctuary. Rich in sal forest and wetlands. Kamur Wildlife Sanctuary, Kamur Hills. Times covers plateau forests and hill ranges. Times wildlife includes panthers, wild boars, sambar, and blue bull, nilgai. Times features waterfalls, caves, and prehistoric rock paintings. Udaipur Wildlife Sanctuary, West Champaran. Times wetland sanctuary centered around a lake. Times habitat for migratory birds, turtles, and crocodiles. Times important stop for birdwatchers during winter. Chhattisgarh Wildlife Sanctuaries. Achanakmar Wildlife Sanctuary, Bilaspur, Mungeli. Times part of Achanakmar, Amarkantak Biosphere Reserve. Times dense sal and bamboo forest, home to tigers, bison, and chinkara. Times UNESCO Biosphere Zone with high biodiversity. Bharmagar Wildlife Sanctuary, Bijapur. Times important elephant corridor in southern Chhattisgarh. Times also houses gaur, sambars, and leopards. Times forest of mixed deciduous and moist peninsular species. Tema Pingla Wildlife Sanctuary, Surajpur. Times undulating terrain with several streams and rivulets. Times species include sloth bear, wild boar, and Indian fox. Times good site for ecotourism. Goa Wildlife Sanctuaries. Bhagwan Mahavir Wildlife Sanctuary, Sanguem. Times largest sanctuary in Goa, part of Western Ghats. Times includes Molem National Park inside. Times rich in gaur, leopards, black panther, and birds like kingfishers. Kotigao Wildlife Sanctuary, Kanakona. Times known for tallest forest canopies in Goa, up to 30 meters. Times animals include flying squirrel, mouse deer, and Indian pangolin. Times treetop watchtowers offer views of watering holes. Netravali Wildlife Sanctuary, Sanguem. Times connected to Kotigao, rich in butterflies and reptiles. Times located in the Netravali River Basin. Times preserves semi-evergreen forests and rare herbs. Gujarat Wildlife Sanctuaries. Gir Wildlife Sanctuary, Junagadh. Times core area for Asiatic lions. Part of Gir National Park. Times also hosts hyenas, crocodiles, jackals, and over 300 bird species. Times dry deciduous forest and thorny scrub. Wild Ass Sanctuary, Little Run of Kutch. Times world's last refuge of Indian wild ass, Gudkur. Times spans salt plains and seasonal wetlands. Times flamingos, cranes, and desert foxes are common. Narayan Sarovar Sanctuary, Kutch. Times dry grassland and thorn scrub near Narayan Lake. Times species include caracal, desert cat, and chinkara. Times region is drought-prone yet ecologically important. Balram Ambaji Wildlife Sanctuary, Banaskantha. Times situated in the Aravalli Hills. Times hosts sloth bears, hyenas, civets, and porcupines. Times sacred groves and temples present inside the area. Haryana Wildlife Sanctuaries. Sultanpur National Park, Gurugram. Times also classified as a sanctuary, famous for migratory birds. Times winter visitors include flamingos, pelicans, cranes, and ducks. Times wetland ecosystem with birdwatching towers. Bindwas Wildlife Sanctuary, Jhajjar. Times declared a Ramsar wetland. Times hosts over 250 species of birds including waterfowl and raptures. Times artificial lake surrounded by semi-arid terrain. Kalesar Wildlife Sanctuary, Yamunanagar. Times located in the Shivalik foothills. Times known for leopards, sambar, porcupines, and python. Times connected to Kalesar National Park and Simbalbara, HP. Himachal Pradesh Wildlife Sanctuaries. Churdhar Wildlife Sanctuary, Sirmaur. Times named after Churdhar Peak, the highest in Outer Himalayas. Times rich in Himalayan black bear, musk deer, and monals. Times trekking site with temple and alpine forests. Great Himalayan National Park Buffer Zone. Times surrounds the GHNP World Heritage Site. Times forested valleys and alpine meadows. Times include snow leopard, blue sheep, and goral. Renuka Wildlife Sanctuary, Sirmaur. Times includes the Renukaji Lake and Temple. Times fauna includes spotted deer, nilgai, and Himalayan civet. Times scenic pilgrimage cum nature zone. Simbalbara Wildlife Sanctuary, Sirmaur. Times contiguous with Kalesar Sanctuary, Haryana. Times mixed deciduous forests and grassland. Times good population of gaur, barking deer, and wild boar. Jammu and Kashmir Ladakh Wildlife Sanctuaries. Hemis Wildlife Sanctuary, Ladakh. Times largest WLS in India. High altitude Trans-Himalayan Zone. Times home to snow leopard, Tibetan wolf, and blue sheep. Times part of the Hemis Monastery region. Changakung Wildlife Sanctuary, Ladakh. Times cold desert plateau near Pangong Kso and Kso Moriri. Times hosts Kiang, wild ass, Tibetan gazelle, and bar-headed geese. Times nomadic Changpa tribes inhabit the area. Overaru Wildlife Sanctuary, Anantnag. Times lush coniferous and alpine forests. Times houses brown bear, musk deer, hengul, and sero. Times source of Lidar River and mountain springs. Hokersar Wildlife Sanctuary, Srinagar. Times Ramsar Wetland Site, marshland for migratory birds. Times hosts geese, ducks, herons, and common teal. Times winter heaven for birds from Siberia and Central Asia. Jharkhand Wildlife Sanctuaries. Dalma Wildlife Sanctuary, East Singbhum. Times forested hills and migratory elephant corridor. Times also home to porcupines, barking deer, and sloth bear. Times trekking trails and watchtowers. Palkot Wildlife Sanctuary, Gumla. Times dry deciduous forest. Times animals include wolf, hyena, hare, and civet. Times tribal heritage and sal forest dominance. Hajaribagh Wildlife Sanctuary. Times one of the oldest protected areas in Jharkhand. Times home to sambar, cheetal, nilgai, and birds. Times scenic hills, lakes, and forest drives. Karnataka Wildlife Sanctuaries. Dandeli Wildlife Sanctuary, Uttara Kannada. Times part of the Dandeli Anshi Tiger Reserve. Times dense moist deciduous forest along Kali River. Times hosts black panther, elephant, hornbills, and crocodiles. Bhadra Wildlife Sanctuary, Chikmagaluru. Times also a tiger reserve, centered on Bhadra River. Times sloth bear, wild dog, gaur, and rich bird diversity. Times surrounded by scenic coffee estates and hills. Kaveri Wildlife Sanctuary, Mandya, Chamrajnagar. Times along the Kaveri River, home to mahseer fish. Times hosts leopards, elephants, and marsh crocodiles. Times ideal for ecotourism and fishing activities. Brahmagiri Wildlife Sanctuary, Korgu. Times Western Ghats Biodiversity, evergreen forests. Times lion-tailed macaque, elephants, and jungle cats. Times close to the Iruppu Falls and Brahmagiri Peak. Kerala Wildlife Sanctuaries. Wayanad Wildlife Sanctuary. Times part of Neeligiri Biosphere Reserve. Connects to Bandipur. Times hosts elephants, tigers, bison, and peacocks. Times evergreen forests, bamboo groves, and tribal settlements. Parambikulam Wildlife Sanctuary, Palakkad. Times now a tiger reserve, shared with Tamil Nadu. Times known for giant Malabar squirrels, gaur, and teak plantations. Times Parambikulam Dam and Lake Inside Sanctuary. Chinar Wildlife Sanctuary, Idukki. Times unique dry thorn forest in rain shadow area. Times home to grizzle giant squirrel, leopard, and turtle species. Times bordered by Tamil Nadu's Indira Gandhi Sanctuary. Pichi Vajhani Wildlife Sanctuary, Thrissur. Times rich flora with over 60 orchid species. Times animals include leopard, barking deer, and jungle cat. Times covers catchment of Pichi and Vajhani dams. Madhya Pradesh Wildlife Sanctuaries. Bori Wildlife Sanctuary, Hoshangabad. Times part of Satpura Tiger Reserve. Times sal and bamboo forest with tigers, leopards, and bears. Times oldest protected forest in India. Gatigaon Wildlife Sanctuary, Gwalior. Times dry grasslands, habitat of great Indian bustard. Times also houses foxes, wolves, and raptors. Times ecologically fragile zone. Karera Wildlife Sanctuary, Shivpuri. Times previously a bustard reserve, but bustard is locally extinct. Times area now includes chinkara, wild boars, and wetland birds. Times grassland and open scrubland ecosystem. Painch Wildlife Sanctuary, Seoni border. Times buffer of Painch National Park. Times forested corridor for tiger and leopard movement. Times forms part of MP Maharashtra tiger habitat. Maharashtra Wildlife Sanctuaries. Tadoba Andhari Wildlife Sanctuary, Chandrapur. Times part of Tadoba National Park, Maharashtra's oldest tiger reserve. Times dense teak forests, bamboo, and lakes. Times hosts tiger, leopard, wild dog, and sloth bear. Melghat Wildlife Sanctuary, Amravati. Times forms part of Melghat Tiger Reserve in Satpura Range. Times steep hills, valleys, and dry deciduous forests. Times home to gaur, sambar, barking deer, and eagles. Nagjira Wildlife Sanctuary, Gondia. Times lush forest and serene lake ecosystem. Times high density of leopards, panthers, and flying squirrels. Times connected to Navegao NP. Bhimgar Wildlife Sanctuary. Belgaum border. Times Western Ghats region. Times habitat for barred wolf snake, Malabar civet, and rare frogs. Times important cave ecosystems and bat colonies. Manipur. Wildlife Sanctuary. Yangopok Pi Lokchau Wildlife Sanctuary. Chandel. Times located near the Indo-Myanmar border. Times dense tropical forests with hulok gibbon, slow lories, and leopard cat. Times rich bird diversity and traditional tribal settlements. Meghalaya Wildlife Sanctuaries. Nong Khillem Wildlife Sanctuary. Riboi. Times tropical evergreen forest, rich in orchids and ferns. Times species, Himalayan black bear, clouded leopard, hulok gibbon. Times bird-rich region with hornbills, partridges, and flycatchers. Siju Wildlife Sanctuary. South Garo Hills. Times famous for the Siju caves and limestone formations. Times known for cave nesting birds, bat colonies, and rare frogs. Times dense forest habitat for elephants, leopards. Balpakram National Park, also WLS South Garo Hills. Times sacred to local Garo tribes, known as Land of Spirits. Times hosts red panda, golden cat, wild buffalo, and pitcher plants. Times deep gorges, cliffs, and canyons. Mizoram Wildlife Sanctuaries. Dampa Wildlife Sanctuary. Mamit. Times also a tiger reserve in the western hills of Mizoram. Times home to clouded leopard, leopard cat, and stump-tailed macaques. Times bamboo forest, dense hills, and tribal communities. Nagengpui Wildlife Sanctuary. Lunglei. Times tropical forest zone near the Myanmar border. Times known for serow, barking deer, and hornbills. Times intersects rivers, ravines, and hilly terrain. Lengteng Wildlife Sanctuary. Champhai. Times high-altitude forests with bear, goral, sambar, and pheasants. Times part of the Indo-Myanmar Biodiversity Hotspot. Times preserves rich tribal and ecological heritage. Nagaland Wildlife Sanctuaries. Intanki, Ntangki Wildlife Sanctuary. Parin. Times lush semi-evergreen forest, home to hulok gibbons, sloth bears, and civets. Times species include mikun, deer, and wild boar. Times managed with community participation and tribal councils. Odisha Wildlife Sanctuaries. Chilika, Nalaban Island, Wildlife Sanctuary, Puri Ganjam. Times located inside Chilika Lake, India's largest brackish water lagoon. Times home to Irrawaddy dolphins, flamingos, and migratory birds. Times declared a Ramsar site and key wintering ground for birds. Satkosia Gorge Wildlife Sanctuary. Angul, Nayagar. Times part of Satkosia Tiger Reserve. Times known for mugger crocodile, gharial, and Indian skimmer. Times River Mahandi flows through deep gorges and forest. Debrigar Wildlife Sanctuary. Bargar. Times near Hirakud Reservoir, vital for aquatic and terrestrial fauna. Times hosts leopard, nilgai, hyena, and migratory waterbirds. Times scenic hilly terrain ideal for ecotourism. Rajasthan Wildlife Sanctuaries. Kumbhalgarh Wildlife Sanctuary. Rajasmand. Times surrounds the famous Kumbhalgarh Fort, UNESCO site. Times dry deciduous forest with wolves, leopards, chinkara, and jungle cats. Times excellent eco-trails and historic landscapes. Sariska Wildlife Sanctuary. Alwar. Times now upgraded to Sariska Tiger Reserve. Times species, tiger, sambar, nilgai, hyena. Times features temples and lakes like Silisera nearby. Mount Abu Wildlife Sanctuary. Sirohi. Times located in the only hill station of Rajasthan. Times rich in flora like orchids, bamboo. Fauna includes sloth bear, porcupine, and leopard. Times scenic viewpoints and trekking paths. Desert National Park, Jaisalmer, Burma. Times also functions as a sanctuary. Times sand dunes, thorn forest, and habitat for great Indian bustard. Times includes fossils of dinosaurs and prehistoric trees. Sikkim Wildlife Sanctuaries. Kyongnosla Alpine Sanctuary, East Sikkim. Times near Zomgo Lake. Known for primulas, rhododendrons, and medicinal herbs. Times Wildlife, red panda, Himalayan black bear, blood pheasant. Times alpine meadows and high-altitude grasslands. Phambong Lho Wildlife Sanctuary, Gangtok. Times dense forest with oak, bamboo, and magnolia. Times species, barking deer, red panda, hill partridge. Times great for trekking and birding. Mainam Wildlife Sanctuary, South Sikkim. Times located above Ravangla town. Times famous for birds of prey, civet, and Himalayan griffon. Times trekking destination with monastery view. Tamil Nadu Wildlife Sanctuaries. Vellode Bird Sanctuary, Erode. Times wetland habitat, supports spot-billed pelicans, painted storks, and cormorants. Times seasonal nesting and roosting site. Mukurthi Wildlife Sanctuary, Nilgiris. Times part of Nilgiri Biosphere Reserve, Montane Shola Grassland. Times habitat of Nilgiri Teher, black eagle, and otter. Times UNESCO World Heritage Area. Point Calimere Wildlife Sanctuary, Nagpattinam. Times coastal wetland ecosystem. Times home to blackbuck, flamingos, spoonbills, and estuarine animals. Times mangroves, sand dunes, and salt pans. Satyamangalam Wildlife Sanctuary, Erode. Times corridor connecting western and eastern Ghats. Times part of Satyamangalam Tiger Reserve. Times hosts elephants, leopards, striped hyena, and rich flora. Telangana Wildlife Sanctuaries. Eturnagram Wildlife Sanctuary, Mulugu. Times one of the oldest sanctuaries in India, since 1953. Times home to spotted deer, blackbuck, sloth bear, and crocodile. Times river Godavari flows through. Pocharam Wildlife Sanctuary, Medak. Times forests around Pocharam Lake. Times good for water birds, panthers, and wild boar. Times ancient dam built by Nizam kings. Kinner Sani Wildlife Sanctuary, Bhadradri Kotagudam. Times part of Eastern Ghats and Godavari Basin. Times features langurs, gars, leopards, and migratory birds. Times dense teak and bamboo forests. Tripura Wildlife Sanctuaries. Sepa Hijala Wildlife Sanctuary, West Tripura. Times houses clouded leopard, various primates, and a zoo complex. Times lakes attract migratory birds. Times includes academic center and botanical garden. Trishna Wildlife Sanctuary, South Tripura. Times home to gaur, Indian bison, leopard cat, and slow lories. Times known for vast grasslands and wetland swamps. Times important butterfly habitat. Rova Wildlife Sanctuary, North Tripura. Times smallest WLS in Tripura. Times tropical evergreen and semi-evergreen forests. Times birds, monkeys, and small mammals commonly seen. Uttar Pradesh Wildlife Sanctuaries. Chandraprabha Wildlife Sanctuary, Chandoli. Times forested hills and waterfalls in the Vindhya Range. Times wildlife, leopard, chinkara, sloth bear, and jungle cat. Times known for Rajdari and Devdari waterfalls. Katarnia Ghat Wildlife Sanctuary, Bahraich. Times part of Dudhwa Tiger Reserve, Terai ecosystem. Times home to gharials, Gangetic dolphins, tigers, and swamp deer. Times wetlands and grasslands ideal for bird life. Nawabganj Bird Sanctuary, Unnao. Times now renamed Shahid Chandrasekhar Azad Bird Sanctuary. Times winter refuge for migratory ducks, geese, and storks. times centered on a small lake with bird observatories. Uttarakhand Wildlife Sanctuaries. Ascot Wildlife Sanctuary, Pithoragarh. Times high Himalayan terrain near Indo-Nepal border. Times habitat of musk deer, snow leopard, bharal, and Himalayan teher. Times part of the Kailash sacred landscape. Binsar Wildlife Sanctuary, Almora. Times dense oak, rhododendron forest, panoramic Himalayan views. Times rich in leopards, barking deer, porcupine, and monals. Times popular birdwatching site, 200+ species. Sonandi Wildlife Sanctuary, Pauri Gahwal. Times buffer zone of Corbett Tiger Reserve. Times river Sonandi flows through teak forests. Times elephants, leopards, and king cobras common. West Bengal Wildlife Sanctuaries. Jore Pokhri Wildlife Sanctuary, Darjeeling. Times small sanctuary famous for Himalayan salamander. Times also features small lakes and pine forest landscape. Times scenic location with views of Kanchenjunga. Sainchal Wildlife Sanctuary, Darjeeling. Times among the oldest sanctuaries in India. Times rich in birds, leopard, barking deer, and wild boar. Times contains Sainchal Lake which supplies water to Darjeeling. Lothian Island Wildlife Sanctuary, South 24 Pargana. Times part of the Sundarbans mangrove delta. Times houses estuarine crocodiles, jungle cats, and numerous birds. Times important coastal and tidal ecosystem. Andaman and Nicobar Islands Wildlife Sanctuaries. North Button Island WLS, Aendan. Times Marine Sanctuary, supports dugongs, dolphins, and sea turtles. Times coral reefs and tropical fish in shallow lagoons. Times part of Rani Jhansi Marine National Park Zone. Saddle Peak Wildlife Sanctuary, North Andaman. Times highest peak in Aendan Islands. Tropical evergreen forest. Times home to Andaman wild pig, crab-eating macaque, and endemic birds. Times dense forest trekking paths and waterfalls. Interview Island Wildlife Sanctuary, Middle Andaman. Times known for feral elephants, brought during logging operations. Times also hosts monitor lizards, birds of prey, and snakes. Times coastal, forested, and mangrove-rich terrain. What is a biodiversity hotspot? Coined by Norman Myers, 1988, a biodiversity hotspot is a biogeographic region rich in endemic global biodiversity hotspots greater than or equal to 1 grouped by continent, 500 species Asia, found nowhere else, Himalaya, India, and has Nepal, lost greater than or equal to 70% China, of its original vegetation. India. As of Myanmar, now, there are Cambodia, 36 global Vietnam, biodiversity hotspots, Sundaland, Nicobar just Islands, 2.4% Malaysia, of Earth's land, Indonesia, but holding greater than 50% of the world's endemic plant species. Sri Lanka. What is a biodiversity hotspot? China. A biodiversity hotspot is a region forests and volcanic has at least 1,500 species of vascular plants as endemics, Malaysia found nowhere else. Transition zone between Asia and Australia, 70% of its original natural vegetation, Papua New Guinea globally, and Solomon Islands. There are 36 biodiversity hotspots considered distinct India by some ecologists. Of them. Africa and Middle East. Cape Floristic Region, South Africa. Coastal forests of Eastern Africa, Kenya, Tanzania. Guinean forests of West Africa, Nigeria, Ghana. Horn of Africa, Somalia, Ethiopia. Madagascar and Indian Ocean Islands. Maputland Pondoland Albany, South Africa. Mediterranean Basin, Southern Europe, North Africa, Middle East. Succulent Karoo, South Africa, Namibia. Eastern Afromontane, Ethiopia to Zimbabwe. Sahara Desert, biodiversity corridors, partial inclusion under broader zones. North and Central America. California Floristic Province, USA. Caribbean Islands, Cuba, Hispaniola, Jamaica. Mesoamerica, Mexico to Panama. Tums, Choco, Magdalena, Colombia, Ecuador. Madryn Pine Oak Woodlands, Mexico and SW, USA. South America. Amazon rainforest, not a hotspot but highly biodiverse. Atlantic forest, Mata Atlantica, Brazil. Cerrado, Brazil, savanna-type biome. Chilean winter rainfall, Valdivian forests, Chile. Tropical Andes, Ecuador, Peru, Bolivia. Australia and Pacific. Southwest Australia, one of the most botanically rich. New Caledonia, island biodiversity. New Zealand, unique flightless birds and forests. Polynesia, Micronesia, remote Pacific islands. East Melanesian Islands, Vanuatu. Solomon Islands. Quick global facts. Region approx. Hotspots. Asia Pacific 15+. Africa 9. South America 5. North is Central AM. 4. Europe Medit. 1. Let's now take a journey across the globe to explore some of the world's richest biodiversity hotspots and their incredible endemic species, organisms found nowhere else on Earth. Himalayas, India, Nepal, Bhutan. Among the snow-covered peaks blooms the Himalayan blue poppy, a rare flower adapted to harsh alpine conditions. In these mountains roam elusive creatures like the snow leopard and the red panda, both symbols of high-altitude wilderness. Western Ghats, India. Deep within this ancient mountain range, the silent valley tree frog crooks from mossy branches, found only here. Its forests are the last refuge for the critically endangered lion-tailed macaque, a monkey with a striking silver mane. Madagascar. Famous for its baobab trees, known as the upside-down trees, Madagascar is a botanical wonderland. Its forests echo with the calls of lemurs, playful primates found nowhere else in the world. Amazon rainforest, not a biodiversity hotspot by definition, but still incredibly rich. This forest hosts over 16,000 tree species. The jaguar, the top predator here, prowls the shadows, while the vibrant poison dart frog adds color to the jungle floor. Caribbean islands. The Caribbean is home to the resilient Caribbean pine, thriving in tropical conditions. Its waters and wetlands provide sanctuary to the gentle West Indian manatee, a herbivore affectionately called the sea cow. Indo-Burma region, India, Myanmar, Vietnam, etc. This area is rich in orchids and medicinal herbs, many with great cultural and healing significance. Among its treetops swing the endangered hulok gibbon, while Asian elephants still roam its forests. New Zealand. Towering kauri trees, among the oldest on Earth, dominate the native forests. The kiwi bird, New Zealand's national symbol, is a flightless nocturnal bird, while the ancient tuatara reptile represents a living link to the dinosaur age. California Floristic Province, USA. Home to the towering coastal redwood, the world's tallest tree. The skies are watched over by the majestic California condor, and the deserts are inhabited by the small, desert-dwelling kangaroo rat. These endemic species are the jewels of Earth's natural heritage. Protecting them means preserving the fragile web of life that has evolved uniquely in each corner of our planet. Why are hotspots important? Support global biodiversity. Home to rare, endemic, and endangered species. Regulate climate, water, and soil. Cultural and medicinal importance. Face maximum threat from humans. 1. Himalaya hotspot. Region, India, J&K, Himachal, Uttarakhand, Sikkim, Arunachal, Nepal, Bhutan, Southern Tibet, China. Area, 750,000 sq km. Ecosystem and biodiversity. Alpine meadows, temperate forests, glaciers, and subtropical valleys. Over 10,000 species of plants, 35% endemic. Key species. Snow leopard, Panthera ansea. Red panda, Himalayan monal. Taking, musk deer, Himalayan teher. Endemic rhododendrons and blue poppies. Threats. Deforestation, tourism pressure, poaching, climate change, glacier melt. 2. Indo-Burma hotspot. Region, Ne India, Arunachal to Tripura, Myanmar, Thailand, Cambodia, Laos, Vietnam. Area, ~2 million sq km. Ecosystem and biodiversity. Tropical evergreen forests, wetlands, and karst hills. Over 13,500 plant species, ~7000 endemic. Key species. Hoolock gibbon, India's only ape. Asian elephant, tiger, sarus crane. Mekong giant catfish. Rare turtles and tree frogs. Threats. Logging, infrastructure development, mining, shifting cultivation, zoom, illegal wildlife trade. 3. Sundaland hotspot. Region, Nicobar Islands, India, Peninsular Malaysia, Singapore, Borneo, Sumatra, Java, Indonesia. Area, ~1.5 million sq km. Ecosystem and biodiversity. Tropical rainforests, mangroves, coral reefs. ~25,000 plant species, 15,000 plus endemic. Key species. Orangutans, Sumatran tiger, tapir. Nicobar megapode, India, marine turtles. Rafflesia, world's largest flower. Threats. Palm oil plantations, deforestation, island tourism, tsunamis, overfishing. 4. Western Ghats and Sri Lanka hotspot. Region, India, Maharashtra to Kerala, Sri Lanka. Area, ~182,500 sq km. Ecosystem and biodiversity. Tropical evergreen and montane forests. Over 7,400 plant species. 1,800 plus endemic. Key species. Lion-tailed macaque, Nilgiri tehir, Malabar civet. Purple frog, living fossil. Sri Lankan leopard. Lories. Threats. Habitat fragmentation, hydropower dams, urban sprawl, mining. 5. Mountains of southwest China. Region, Hengduan Mountains, Yunnan, Sichuan, Eastern Tibet, China. Area, ~262,400 sq km. Ecosystem and biodiversity. High-altitude conifer forests, temperate rainforests. 12,000 plus plant species, ~3,500 endemic. Key species. Giant panda, red panda, Yunnan snub-nosed monkey, Himalayan yew, anticancer tree. Endemic firs, lilies, and primroses. Threats. Agricultural expansion, tourism, dam construction, climate change. 6. Japan hotspot. Region, entire Japan, Honshu, Hokkaido, Kyushu, Okinawa. Area, ~370,000 sq km. Ecosystem and biodiversity. Volcanoes, mixed forests, alpine zones. Over 5,600 plant species, 40% endemic. Key species. Japanese macaque, Japanese crane, Sika deer, tanuki, raccoon dog. Unique forest ferns and flowering trees. Threats. Urbanization, pollution, overgrazing by deer, invasive species. Eight. Wallacea hotspot. Region, Central Indonesia, Sulawesi, Moluccas. 7. Philippines Sunda Islands. Region, Entire Philippine archipelago, 7 sq km plus ecosystem and biodiversity, 300,000 volcanic sq km, mangroves, ecosystem and biodiversity, endemic species due to isolation, volcanoes, key species, coastal mangroves, Babirusa, 14, dwarf plus plant species, Sulawesi macaques, 000 plus endemic, threats, key species, habitat fragmentation, Philippine eagle, volcanic activity, Vishan warty pig, invasive species, 9 East Melanesian Islands hotspot, region, Vanuatu, overfishing, Solomon Islands, island Papua deforestation, eastern parts, area, 100,000 sq km, ecosystem and biodiversity, rainforests, volcanic islands, coral reefs, 3,000 plant species, 2,000 endemic, key species, flying foxes, endemic pigeons, tree frogs, rare orchids, palms, and butterflies, threats, logging, mining, climate change, isolation-related extinctions, 10 Western Himalaya, sometimes considered a subregion, region, Himachal Pradesh, Uttarakhand, India, NW Nepal, area, 100,000 sq km, ecosystem and biodiversity, glaciers, alpine meadows, pine oak forests, high-altitude medicinal herbs, Brahma Kamal, and deodar, key species, Himalayan brown bear, musk deer, griffon vulture, high-altitude butterflies and beetles, threats, global warming, melting glaciers, pilgrimage pressure, hydro projects. 1 Cape Floristic Region. Location: southern tip of South Africa. Area: 78,500 sq km. Flora: one of the 6 floral kingdoms of the world. 9,000 plant species, over 69% endemic. Fynbos vegetation: proteas, ericas, restios. Fauna: endemic frogs, insects, reptiles, geometric tortoise, Cape sugarbird. Threats: urban expansion, agriculture, vineyards, invasive species. 2 coastal forests of eastern Africa. Location: Kenya, Tanzania, northern Mozambique. Area: 103,000 sq km. Flora: tropical moist forests and thickets. Many medicinal plants and timber trees. Fauna: Addis diker, Sanjay mangabe, endemic chameleons. Rare birds, Sokoke scops owl. Threats: logging, coastal development, charcoal production. 3 Guinean forests of West Africa. Location: Guinea to Ghana, Nigeria, Ivory Coast, Liberia. Area: 620,000 sq km. Flora: evergreen rainforests, 9,000 plus plant species, 20% endemic. Fauna: pygmy hippopotamus, western chimpanzee, forest elephants. Rare amphibians and birds like white-necked rockfowl. Threats: palm oil plantations, illegal logging, mining. 4 Horn of Africa. Location: Somalia, Ethiopia, Eritrea, Djibouti. Area: 1.8 million sq km. Flora: dry shrublands and deserts with many drought-adapted species. Over 2,750 endemic plant species. Fauna: Bera antelope, Soemmerring's gazelle, Hamadryas baboon. Endemic reptiles and unique birds. Threats: overgrazing, climate stress, desertification, civil unrest. 5 Madagascar and Indian Ocean islands. Location: Madagascar, Comoros, Seychelles, Mauritius, Reunion. Area: 600,000 sq km. Flora: 13,000 plus plant species, greater than 85% endemic. Baobabs, traveler's palm, Orchids. Fauna. Lemurs, 100 plus species. Tenrec, tomato frog, chameleons. Coral reef and marine species in Seychelles and Mauritius. Threats. Slash and burn farming, Tavy, habitat fragmentation, invasive species. 6. Maputland, Pondoland, Albany. Location: South Africa, KwaZulu-Natal, Eastern Cape, parts of Mozambique. Area: (274,000 sq km). Flora: sand forests, coastal thickets, grasslands. Endemic: Albany cycad, Pondoland conebush. Fauna: Samango monkey, endemic butterflies, African elephant corridors. Threats: logging, coastal tourism, agriculture. 7. Mediterranean basin. Location: Southern Europe, North Africa, Middle East, parts of 35 countries. Area: (2.3 million sq km). Flora: 25,000 plus plant species, greater than 50% endemic. Olive, lavender, oak, pine, cork. Fauna: Barbary macaque, Iberian lynx, desert reptiles, Mediterranean monk seal. Migratory bird flyway corridor. Threats: urban sprawl, tourism, water scarcity, wildfires. 8. Succulent karoo. Location: South Africa and southern Namibia. Area: (116,000 sq km). Flora: highest succulent plant diversity in the world. 6,000 plus species, 40% endemic. Includes stone plants, aloes, lithops. Fauna: small mammals, lizards, insects, endemic butterflies and tortoises. Threats: overgrazing, mining, climate change. 9. Eastern Afromontane. Location: Ethiopia, Kenya, Uganda, Rwanda, Tanzania, Malawi to Zimbabwe. Area: (1 million sq km). Flora: montane cloud forests and high-altitude grasslands, giant lobelia, bamboo forests, medicinal plants. Fauna: Ethiopian wolf, mountain gorilla, chameleon species. Isolated mountain populations with high endemism. Threats: agriculture, population pressure, fragmentation. 10. Sahara Desert biodiversity corridors, partially included. Location: Northern Africa, Algeria, Libya, Egypt, Mauritania, Chad, Sudan. Note: not officially a standalone hotspot, but includes biodiversity corridors and endemic zones like the Tibesti Mountains and oasis systems. Flora: drought-resistant shrubs, date palms, grasses. Fauna: addax, fennec fox, Dorcas gazelle. Reptiles, desert birds. Threats: climate change, extreme aridity, oil or mineral exploitation. Summary table. Condensed view. Hotspot countries involved famous species. Cape Floristic South Africa Proteas, sugarbird. Coastal forests of E. Africa Kenya, Tanzania Mangabe, Soko Kaul. Guinean forests Nigeria to Ghana chimpanzee, pygmy hippo. Horn of Africa Ethiopia, Somalia Bera antelope, baboon. Madagascar and Indian Ocean Islands Madagascar, Seychelles, etc. Lemurs, baobabs. Maputland, Pondoland, Albany South Africa Samango monkey, cycads. Mediterranean basin Europe, North Africa, Middle East monk seal, cork oak. Succulent karoo South Africa, Namibia lithops, tortoise. Eastern Afromontane Ethiopia to Zimbabwe Ethiopian wolf, gorilla. Sahara corridors, partial, Algeria to Sudan, select montane oases, addax, fennec fox. North and Central America biodiversity hotspots. 1. California Floristic Province, USA. Location: Coastal California, USA, part of Oregon and Baja California, Mexico. Area, tilde 324,000 sq km. Ecosystem and biodiversity. Mediterranean-type climate. Chaparral, oak woodlands, redwood forests. 500 plus plant species, tilde 60% endemic. Endemic species. California condor, kangaroo rat, coastal redwood. Endemic butterflies and lizards. Threats. Urban expansion, Los Angeles, San Francisco. Agriculture, wildfires. 2 Caribbean islands. Location, Cuba, Hispaniola, Haiti plus Dominican Republic, Jamaica, Puerto Rico, others. Area, tilde 230,000 sq km. Ecosystem and biodiversity. Tropical rainforests, coral reefs, karst formations. 12,000 plus plant species. Over 7,000 endemic. Endemic fauna. Solenodon, Caribbean hutia, Jamaican boa. Marine, coral reef fish, sea turtles. Threats. Deforestation, hurricanes, invasive species, tourism. 3 Mesoamerica. Location, southern Mexico to Panama. Area, tilde 1.1 million sq km. Ecosystem and biodiversity. Rainforests, cloud forests, dry tropical forests. 17,000 plus plant species, tilde 5,000 endemic. Key species. Resplendent quetzal, Baird's tapir, howler monkeys. Numerous amphibians and reptiles. Threats. Cattle ranching, agriculture, fragmentation, drug trafficking corridors. 4 Tums Choco Magdalena. Location, Colombia, Ecuador, northern Peru. Area, tilde 274,000 sq km. Ecosystem and biodiversity. Tropical rainforests, mangroves, coastal plains. Tilde 11,000 plant species. Greater than 25% endemic. Key fauna. Spectacled bear, poison dart frogs, cotinga birds. Diverse butterfly populations. Threats. Logging, mining, palm oil plantations, oil drilling. 5 Madryn pine oak woodlands. Location, Mexico and southwestern USA, Arizona, New Mexico, Texas. Area, tilde 460,000 sq km. Ecosystem and biodiversity. Pine and oak forests in Sky Islands and Highlands. 4,000 plant species, 25% endemic. Key fauna. Mexican wolf, mountain lion, Arizona ridge-nosed rattlesnake. Endemic woodpeckers and warblers. Threats. Logging, ranching, border wall construction. South America biodiversity hotspots. 1 Amazon rainforest, not a formal hotspot but highly biodiverse. Location, Brazil, Peru, Colombia, Ecuador, Bolivia, Venezuela. Area, tilde 5.5 million sq km. Biodiversity, staggering richness. Tilde 40,000 plant species. Over 400 mammals, 1,300 birds, 2,500 fish, 3,000 plus insects per acre. Jaguar, harpy eagle, macaws, anacondas, capybara. Threats. Logging, mining, hydro dams, fires, cattle ranching. 2 Atlantic forest, Mata Atlantica. Location, eastern Brazil, Paraguay, Argentina. Area, tilde 1.2 million sq km. Only tilde 7% remains intact. Biodiversity, 20,000 plant species, 8,000 endemic. Golden lion tamarin, Maine sloth, South American tapir. Unique orchids, bromeliads. Threats. Urbanization, Rio, Sao Paulo. Agriculture, road construction. 3 Cerrado, Brazilian savanna. Location, central Brazil. Area, tilde 2 million sq km. Biodiversity. Tropical savanna with forest patches. 12,000 plant species. 4,400 endemic. Giant anteater, maned wolf, armadillo, toucan. Threats. Soy and cattle farming. Fires, water extraction. 4 Chilean winter rainfall, Valdivian forests. Location: central southern Chile and a bit of Argentina. Area: tilde 250,000 sq km. Biodiversity: temperate rainforests, coastal hills, fog oases. 50% plus endemic plants like Fitzroy, Aller's tree, Chilean wine palm. Pudu, world's smallest deer, Darwin's fox, Chilean woodstar. Threats: logging, hydroelectric projects, firewood demand. 5 tropical ants. Location: Colombia, Ecuador, Peru, Bolivia, northern Argentina. Area: tilde 1.2 million sq km. Biodiversity: richest terrestrial hotspot. 45,000 plus plant species. 20,000 endemic. Spectacled bear, mountain tapir, Andean condor, tree frogs, orchids. Threats: climate change, glacier melt, mining, coca farming, road building. Australia and Pacific biodiversity hotspots. 1 Southwest Australia. Location: coastal and inland regions of Western Australia. Area: tilde 356,000 sq km. Biodiversity: Mediterranean scrublands and eucalyptus forests. 7 200 plus plant species. 80% endemic. Numbat, woylie, Carnaby's black cockatoo. Threats: land clearing, invasive species, dryland salinity. 2 New Caledonia. Location: South Pacific east of Australia. Area: tilde 18,000 sq km. Biodiversity: unique ultramafic soils with high endemism. 3 270 plus plant species. 75% plus endemic. Kagu, flightless bird, giant geckos, freshwater crustaceans. Threats: nickel mining, deforestation, invasive deer and pigs. 3 New Zealand. Location: islands east of Australia, north, south, Stewart, Chatham Islands. Area: tilde 270,000 sq km. Biodiversity: glaciated mountains, rainforests, geothermal areas. Over 2,000 endemic plant species. Kiwi, tuatara, kakapo, moa, extinct. Threats: invasive predators, rats, stoats, habitat loss, climate change. 4 Polynesia, Micronesia. Location: thousands of remote Pacific islands, Hawaii, Samoa, Tonga, Palau, Guam. Area: tilde 40 million sq km. Island area is much smaller. Biodiversity: tropical rainforests, volcanic and coral islands. 3,000 plus endemic plant species. Hawaiian honey creepers, flying foxes, endemic snails. Threats: invasive species, mongooses, goats, coral bleaching, rising sea levels. 5 East Melanesian Islands. Location: Solomon Islands, Vanuatu, Papua New Guinea, eastern parts. Area: tilde 100,000 sq km. Biodiversity: rainforests, limestone caves, coastal mangroves. Over 3,000 plant species. Many island endemics. Flying foxes, coconut crabs, tree frogs, rare parrots. Threats: logging, mining, habitat fragmentation, sea level rise.